What's good, my people? My ears just ring there, guys. My ears just ring there from that hand clap. But round of applause to you guys who have been out there, out and large, all over the place, guys, for this here Mystelics reaction channel. If you don't know, guys, I'm about Mystelics, and this is where I tend to bear reactions on a number of things taking place in Dominica, the Caribbean, and the rest of the world by extension. This one pretty much deals with that of which took place with the individual who got brutalized by the police until he passed out during a bus protest that they were doing, because apparently things are not going the way that some of these bus drivers probably intended. By voting for Brother Skero, that would have been a magical thing. But unfortunately, one of these individuals who got the beating in this regard right there, guys, he's speaking out, and he's known as Esrom George, I believe from the Roseau area, or somewhere in Dominica, guys. Of course, this reaction is dealing with that of Dominica. Am I blurry? Alright then, alright. Anyways, guys, this is what the individual had to say. Of course, Lennox Linton is speaking about the incident. Of course, I will link that video in the description below if you want to check out the full thing. But we're going to pay attention to what the individual had to say on his dilemma dealing with the police right there.
What really happened?
Volume, we have to volume up, man. Volume up. My volume is that high. Guys, I turn on my speaker, so you have to listen. Open all your ears.
While pursuing his constitutional right to protest for right.
What really happened is that I was talking to another police officer, so I see them, they're arguing, they're for a key. You understand? So when they're arguing for... That's
probably why they were on the ground searching. We were wondering why were they looking at the ground, and I realized that I heard a key, but I wasn't really sure it was that. I thought it was they were squabbling with people and stuff and throwing people on the ground and so forth, but it was a key that you were apparently looking for the vehicle, which apparently one of the individuals took from this bus, and it must have slipped out while the police was inside it. That's what it looked like when I was watching this video right there.
For the key, no one and thing. I say, well, let me come with the anti-police. So in passing, you understand, and everything there. So when I pass it, I see.
So this apparently is him right there. So he was not in this whole thing right there. He was not in that. He was just okay.
The police officer, like he almost fell, but I grabbed him. You understand? When I grab him, I grab him, not to fall in.
So that's when they were looking for the key.
But he fought like as if I had a problem. But he gave me a, when he said he gave me a cough.
Big cough, be deep in your back.
Anything, I didn't make any noise. I tell him, but I'm helping you, you hitting me. He gave me another cough. So I said,
Guys, I don't know. Some of these things I might have to blow out there because you know how YouTube operate already. Anyways, with that said, you get the point.
Well, what happened in my brother? What happened in you give me a cough to my brother? So while I there now, my brother now come, and my brother separates me from them. I tell my brother, but help I helping the police suite, and he doing me that. What I really do for him to do me like, I've been hitting me like that. And he hold me and shift me away. So the others just run and dive and just give me a cough on them. Give me coffee.
So I'm guessing this is probably his brother. I'm not really sure who this is, but okay.
My head, give me cough on my face, all you understand, all over my head hit me, how can I head it, my neck. After that now, when he go down the thing, when I fall, when I see one of them coming, I turn, you understand, to defend myself. So if you watch the video, you see I try to defend myself, you understand, like getting the blows and them things, and I try to shift, but still running away from the trouble. All of them come and them things, and I tell you truth, I get a lot of those, you see my neck and them things there, and then once it come down a little, Moise come, and he just hold me, you understand, he tell me, put the handcuff on him. I tell him, but what I do, I under arrest. I help in the police, and you telling me I under arrest. How come? What I do? Tell me what I do. He said, put the handcuff, he under handcuff, he under arrest. So I said, but I don't do nothing, I don't want to let police put handcuff on me. If I do something wrong, I agree I wrong. Put your handcuffs, do whatever you feel like. So next thing, he said, put him down. He tell the fella, put him down. When the fella come, the fella throw me down. No, when the fella throw me down, I telling you, Maurice and the other partner come and they put their knee on my neck. One on my.
So it was a George Floyd moment. They don't learn. They don't learn, guys. You realize they don't learn nothing there. They know about the incident about George Floyd and George Floyd losing his life as a result of the same type of neck vibe. Putting their foot on his neck. And this is what he's saying right there. Listen if you didn't listen properly. Listen again.
He said, put him down. He tell the fella, put him down.
Put him down on the ground.
When the fella throw me down, when the fella throw me down, I telling you, Maurice and the other partner come and they put their knee on my neck. One on my head, one on my neck, and two on my back, and two on my foot.
So pinning down the partner while the partner was trying to help the police. Boy, I tell you. Boy, tell you.
I tell him, no, it's about my phone, my neck, the boy. I have a problem briefing cast. It's about it.
The George Floyd moment yet again, guys. Yet again.
Boy, my brother, you know, look, I cannot breathe. I want about 5 minutes. He had his knee on my neck, and then I just black out.
Blackout. I remember seeing the video, you know. I remember seeing the video where he was stinging and he was kind of, I don't know, trembling or had seizures or whatever. And when that happened, that's when the police disperse. Police disappear. But to me, all you're supposed to have, if this situation like that happened, police just disappear. All of them that was around him, they just disappear. I think it was only his brother or something that was around who stayed. But all of them that was around him, when they saw what was happening to him on the floor, they disappeared. The people who are supposed to serve and protect the citizens disappeared for what they did to him, man. This is something else. And all you think is me that making up stuff when I tell you, you have to know for yourself. Boy. All right then.
When I black out, I don't know nothing is happening. And when I wake up, I see my brother giving...
Thank God he survived, man. Remember this guy was flat. I'm fanning the guy.
Whatever, you understand? My brother is a police. He was really vexed. Tell the truth, he was really vexed. You understand? And police officers is a thing I help, I assist them, and all of them, the whole police force know me. All of them know me, how I operate.
Well, whether they know you or not, they didn't care not that day. Because one of them that caused you to black out. They didn't care about you that day, bro. Even if police want to say what they know you know and they think later that day, doesn't matter what. You see, police officers I suspect, and they need to further train police officers to the point where they can actually handle situations like this much better. Because in Dominica, apparently, we're lacking a lot when it comes onto these situations. And police might want to say, oh, they don't ill-treat. Nonsense! I saw it for myself. I saw it for myself while I was inside when the whole situation with me. I saw it for myself. And they held this guy. I don't know. I pray God that this guy takes these individuals to court. Sue these individuals. They pushed the boy on the wall. And they had his hand on his neck. There. Had his hand on his neck. And they tell him, breathe again. That is what they tell him, you know. Breathe again. As if you have to stop breathing because breathing is not your right. The boy tell him to breathe again. Then all of a sudden I saw them take the what they call that, the megaphone. And they pull it and they hit him. What, boy? I tell you, boy. I tell you, the very same situation that is happening where they're talking about the police officers, they had external investigation for the individual who died in prison under police custody. But of course, nobody can tell me it's not the police that caused that to happen. Nobody. I see it for myself. Thank God I see these things. I'm happy I went inside, I tell you. I'm happy I went inside there. Because I got to see things that the normal citizens don't see, and I get to come out since I have a platform to tell you guys what is going on. This happened in broad daylight. A guy trying to help the police, and the police end up putting their foot on his neck. I tell you, boy. And these police officers pretending as if they are saints or something, like they're really upholding. Hey, I tell you. It seems like when you go against the system, apparently the police is supposed to go against you. But the system is supposed to be that you, the police officer, are supposed to protect the people from the people who are trying to do them harm. This is why these guys are there in the first place. They are there because the system is ill-treating them. And instead you stand with the people and say, hey, what is going on? The very person they try to get the attention, the Prime Minister Skerrit, told that these guys what they're doing is nonsense. They're complaining about the situation in the economy, and you are telling them what they're doing is nonsense for what you have created in the economy. I tell you, we cannot make this stuff up. We cannot make this stuff up. Look it right there. I don't understand people. It's right there in your face, you know. It's right there in your face. Not true. But we want to pretend as if these things don't happen. No, bus drivers on the other hand, all you are the ones who helped put these guys there. I'm not saying that this individual in particular, they were, of course, like I mentioned in my previous thing, Peter should never pay for Paul, but apparently they want the same system because the system is what is treating both individuals, both Peter and Paul. So when the people are standing up and fighting and say, hey, something is going wrong, while you yourself, somebody made a important notice. What has the Prime Minister them sacrificed in this whole pandemic? What have they sacrificed? What have they sacrificed in this whole thing, guys? Correct me if I'm wrong. We heard that other places have been giving 75% of their salaries. Others have been staying, okay, let them stay without all those kind of things there. What has Dominica government ever done after they received their salaries plus paying $64,000 per month? Oh, I tell you what sacrifices, yet still, they want the people themselves to make the sacrifices when they are the ones who are supposed to be serving the people. Anyways, I digress. I digress, guys. Let me go back. I just get carried away because I'm passionate about these things. I am seeing them in my eyes, Makwisa. I've been seeing these things in my eyes, man. And we're watching people as if things don't happen or pretending as if things don't happen. And they remain silent on the issues that are actually there and are bothering the people. What have they done for the bus drivers? What have they done? Like I tell you, bus drivers are putting them people there. Or you going all over the place campaigning, Labour cut to have 5 more years, then complaining about 2 or 3 years. Matter of fact, directly 2 years later. Well, not directly, it's December. About a year and something later, you complaining now. Complaining about the very thing that you put there. Hey, we get $1,000 of free gas for us. Anyways, it's just an unfortunate situation that's happening there. A guy who was trying to help the police end up almost taking the brother's life. Just like they did for George Floyd. Just like they did, not true. Thank God he lived to tell his story. Otherwise, if he had passed, and I was talking about that same thing, you know, guys. When I was inside there, and people were saying all kind of foolishness, all kind of stupidness, and people were agreeing and saying, well, it's true. Who to Chinese embassy? All kind of foolishness people were saying. Imagine now, if this guy had passed away, and he would not be able to tell his side of the story, we believe in all kind of foolishness right there. We believe in all kind of irrevocable foolishness if this guy had passed away at the hands of the 5-0. And then we want to say police care about... Don't get me wrong, guys. There are, of course, some good police officers. But when good police officers refuse to speak up against the bad police officers, they too are in it. Nobody can tell me otherwise. It's just like you see a man stealing. If you go in certain places, certain countries, and you see a man stealing and you don't do nothing about it, and the police come and they say, and you say you see it, they're taking you too, you know. Because you are accomplice to it. You never reported it. You saw the crime going on and you never did it. Anyways, let me go back to this.
I cry because I ask myself, what I do the police officer for me to get that kind of treatment? From reaching that stage here, what I do the police, what I do trying to help a police officer, like still telling you, I help, look boy now, I help you boy, you treat me like that, what I do, and then I'm still enough for the man, you know. You see, if the fella that come and hit me and I don't, you know, and he's saving me up. When I watch a video,
I tell you, what is the reason for doing that? What is the reason for doing that? Tell you what.
You give me a kind of kick like that, I feel like I'm a dog.
Like George Floyd, Ezram George...
I just mentioned George Floyd, you know. I just mentioned that day.
complained that he could not breathe after several minutes of torture.
Anyways, guys, I cannot show too much. You might see some of these things blanked out. You guys can definitely check the link in the description below for you to see the whole thing. But it's just, I mean, oh my God in heaven. You've seen these things happening. It's not like you're not seeing, guys. It's not like you're not seeing it there. And a number of persons made memes about these things and whatnot as a result of this thing. But this is a serious situation. The man could have lost his life there. He could have lost his life there. Then you cannot call it. Would this be a racism thing? No, Dominica. I don't think we have racism. We have classism, though. We have classism. We don't really have racism in Dominica. But then you have the same partner doing his own people that. And that kind of brings me to the thought of slavery. When those they were all slaves, African slaves. They were somewhere in the house, somewhere in the field. And then those that were in the house were house slaves, felt like they were above those who were in the field, who were field slaves. completely forgetting that they both were slaves. They both were slaves. So sometimes the whole slave, when he hears certain things happening with the field slave, especially when people try to escape, he would then sell out the field slave in exchange for some, maybe for 50 cents, maybe for a piece of chicken, maybe to say, hey, well done, for free gas. Not true. It's the same situation that applies here. The field slave is working against the house slave is working against the field slave in retrospect to the example I gave. All of them in the same situation. You think the economy does not affect the police officers too? This is why most of them staying inside and trying to get overtime for not doing nothing inside there. They just sit down there, just chilling, who on DNO, who playing game, who playing solitaire, who freeing up themselves, and so forth and so forth. So themselves trying to make a little extra on the people's back without doing nothing whatsoever. And then we see situations like this as if they are so different. I don't think people understand these things. You guys are not so different from the very people you're mistreating, you know. Because you live in the same economy while they are the top. While they are the top, the people you are supposedly protecting are the ones who are part of the 1% who are making all the millions. While you pull up making a few, trying to make a little overtime, trying to do a little thing here and there for it to make it at the end of the day. Most of these police officers rent. That's something I found out the other day. They rent apartments. They don't even have their own. Oh boy, tell you. The economists, some of all you have to take bus to go to work. Bus to go to work, man. And these are these things that I seen happening there. I always believe that Peter should never pay for Paul. That's why I'm speaking about that. But do I feel sorry for the other bus drivers out there? No, of course not. Because they're the ones putting themselves in the same situation where the police themselves were in the same situation economically with them and then fighting against each other. Somebody told me the very person at the top, the people at the top are watching Dominicans fighting against themselves while they're at home eating ice cream and chilling and watching on news and seeing what's going on. I mean, don't people think or realize what is going on, though? Don't people think and realize what on earth is going on? Dominicans fighting against themselves in an economy that has been placed by the very government themselves that have weakened the people to the point where they have to go out and protest. And the very people who are, I tell you, people in the same situation are then fighting the people trying to fight for their rights. So now think about slavery, man. And not just slavery though. Overall, when people notice you trying to elevate or trying to do better for yourselves, that is when people start to hate. That is why people start to hate. That's why I told my other YouTubers, if all you elevating and everything, don't be telling nobody you elevating. You just do your thing. Be humble and chill. You don't do nothing. Whether you getting income or not, you don't do nothing. Stay quiet. Because the moment people notice that you are elevating beyond them, that is where problem starts. Anyways, guys, with that said, what are your thoughts on the whole situation? Definitely check out the full link in the description below. I was going to react to the whole thing, but I figured the information that he was given from Eshram George was given is quite vital right there, guys, because he gave his side of the story. And with that said, definitely give this video a thumbs up for Eshram for surviving. Definitely, guys, I would appreciate that. And of course, give this video, definitely subscribe and turn on post notifications so you can get the videos as they come from. I'll see you guys in the next reaction.